So tell me a little bit about what you feel about real estate, why you're interested in real estate. Obviously, you're probably interested because you see us do it a lot, but just tell me kind of why your focus is to not only achieve some of the things that you want to do in your path, but just also do it parallel with building wealth through real estate.
Yeah, so basically, I wanted to get into real estate because I seen everybody doing it, my family, my dad, my mom. I seen both of y'all doing it, so I was like, and then I seen y'all actually like doing it, so I was like, I want to learn more about it. And right now, I'm kind of like just a student of the game, so I'm just trying to learn and observe everything until I turn 18, and I can actually take the course myself and become a part of the team.
Mm-hmm. So how do you think your friends will react when they find out that you're a senior in high school, but you already have your real estate license?
It's the Working Mom!
Welcome to episode 3 of the Working Mom podcast. So today my special guest is my youngest son, and sometimes I hate to even say my youngest son because he's definitely not a baby anymore, but it's the only way I can kind of determine to differentiate my two boys because they look similar, they are similar, they have similar names, and they're close in age. But this is technically my baby boy, Martise. How are you today, Martise?
I'm good.
So I definitely wanted to first start off the podcast by having all of my kids on. We are the Working Mom podcast, and each one of my kids are very unique. They're all different. They all have different personalities. They all run businesses, and they all have something special to speak about individually. So I definitely wanted to get Martise on the podcast and talk about all that he has going on. And all that he has been working on for his future. I'm going off to college soon next year and so forth. So thank you so much, Martise, for joining your mom today. A lot of people sometimes say that you're my quiet child, but if you are a part of our family, then you know that Martise is definitely not always so quiet. But I guess if you had to compare him, which we don't like to do, to compare him to his brother and the other kids are just so outspoken and so loud and just give their opinion even if we don't ask for it, where Martise kind of is like his mom. He sits back and watches the situation, he observes, he's very focused and determined, and he speaks when necessary. And then when he speaks, then he has something powerful to say. So he'd rather just not say anything. He rather says something say things when it's more meaningful. So that's kind of how I always describe Martise. So Martise, we know that you are very much interested in joining the family business and getting yourself into real estate. I've been teaching you how to do real estate contracts. We've been going over how to schedule properties, how to work the Century Lock card, and kind of almost starting off by being a transaction coordinator and knowing how to work the back office until your 18th birthday coming up in September, where you're able to take the actual real estate course and get your license. And you will still be a senior in high school when you obtain your real estate license. We also have been taking you out to our investment properties a lot more to kind of see some of the hands-on work, because we know that's something else that you want to get in, obtaining investment properties and being a landlord and doing some flips and so forth. So we just kind of show you some of the hands-on stuff, kind of have you present when we talk to our contractors and we meet with some of our subcontractors and kind of going over some business lingo and things of that nature. So tell me a little bit about what you feel about real estate, why you're interested in real estate. Obviously, you're probably interested because you see us do it a lot, but just tell me kind of why your focus is to not only achieve some of the things that you want to do in your path, but just also do it parallel with building wealth through real estate.
Yeah, so basically, I wanted to get into real estate because I seen everybody doing it, my family, my dad, my mom. I seen both of y'all doing it, so I was like, and then I seen y'all actually like doing it, so I was like, I want to learn more about it. And right now, I'm kind of like just a student of the game, So I'm just trying to learn and observe everything until I turn 18 and I can actually take the course myself and become a part of the team.
Mm-hmm. So how do you think your friends will react when they find out that you're a senior in high school, but you already have your real estate license and you're a licensed realtor out there working in the field? I'm not sure what a lot of other kids in high school are doing right now, but that has to possibly be something to discuss in your group chats and to talk about. So have you heard some of your other friends saying that they were kind of interested in getting into real estate or learning more about us being in it, or what you have to do to get a little deeper into the field?
Yeah, actually, all my friends, we talk about it all the time, and because I'm the oldest of all my friends, so I can start taking my courses way earlier than they can. It's only one of my friends that can take his classes right around the same time, but most of my friends, they gotta wait because I'm the oldest, which that gives me a little bit of advantage, so I can be done with my classes before some of them. But they definitely want to learn, and they ask about what my mom does all the time, and they want to learn from her once they get their license. But me and my friends, we all definitely interested and will be getting our license once we turn 18.
Mm-hmm. And I know that you also love when I go over all of my financial literacy stuff. Like, I'm not just a financial literacy coach to the world, but I just want to, another reason for doing the podcast is just kind of open up to how I am as a mom a lot. And I know you guys hear me teach and preach, and we go over like random finance questions and scenarios and so forth all the time. And recently I had gave a small lesson to you and your siblings about time value of money and basically what it means. And we spoke about a specific scenario based on if you were to win the lottery and win, where you had a cash payout for, $25 million. Right now, they'll give you that money cash, or they'll give you $500,000 every month until you reach the whatever 100 million or so that you were going to win. Would you take the cash payout now, or would you take the monthly annuity? And we kind of got everybody on the scenario at once, and we went over everybody's answer, and immediately everybody kind of instantly thought, I'm gonna take the $500,000 every month. And then quickly everybody started saying like, nah, if my mom is asking me this question, there's probably a catch to it. So let me not say that I'm going to take the 500,000 because it's probably like, let me take a moment to think about it. And then we discussed what time value of money means. And it basically just means, as I explained to you guys, that $1 today is more valuable than $1 tomorrow. And the reason for that is because you can invest it. So that's what I'm always big on teaching you guys. If you invest that 25 million that you receive right now in a payout, by the time that you get the 100 million after maybe 20 more years from getting, a certain amount of money each month, no matter how much they give you, you can always probably make out getting more because you can start investing that 25 million today. And with inflation and everything else, that you'll probably 100% of the time, if you're smart about it, make out having more money at the end. So you always want to take that dollar. I don't care if it's $1, if it's $5, you want to take it today because you can always invest that $1 bill, and by next week you can possibly have $5. So I know you were very interested in finance as well and time value of money, and I know you don't necessarily know what you want to major in college, but I am going to put you on the spot and ask you kind of, what do you have in mind? More business, more finance? I know you used to be really heavy into math, but we also know that you're kind of like our IT person around the house. You fix all of our things when anything gets broke. So I know the tech world is something that you just naturally gravitate to. But do you have any thoughts on just maybe one or two, maybe even three majors that may come to mind, or are you still just 100% undecided right now?
Yeah, right now I'm not 100% undecided. I've been thinking about it as I get closer. And right now I've been thinking about possibly going either the economics route, cybersecurity, or following after my brother and becoming a psychology major. So that's really the top three right now, because at first I was undecided a couple months ago, but then we started to get closer to that deadline. So I got to start doing my research, figuring out what fields I can get into. to really figure out my major and figure out what I want to do after I get my degree.
Mm-hmm. And I know that everything with COVID has kind of turned our summer upside down, because typically you would be traveling to different colleges, doing these college tours. Typically what I do with all of you guys is, even starting as young as middle school, going into high school, every summer, instead of sending you guys to per se summer camps where you would possibly just be swimming or doing more lessons, we would do these college tours. So each one of you guys would be able to pick out probably on average 5 to 7 different schools every summer that you were interested in, and we would pay to send you guys there for the weekends and participate in the camps that they have, meet the coaches, meet the staff, get accustomed to the campuses and so forth. I know last year you were at, you went to UCLA, we sent you to LA, we sent you to, you've been to Duke, you've been to several schools in Pennsylvania, and just kind of all over. So we were kind of accustomed to that for so many years. That's pretty much how, you guys spend the summer. And I know all of that is kind of shut down because it's not safe at this moment to continue with large gatherings and to go to the dorms and so forth. And now you're starting off your senior year of high school, and we're still in the middle of COVID-19. So we have elected to send all of you guys back to school virtually, but just tell me a little bit about how your peers are thinking about, how this is going in the door. Will it really be a huge effect? Is it a great thing your senior year? I know as a senior, you might want to be virtual and just be home anyway. And especially because we was also already planning to do the half-day schedule with you, so you can go to college half of the day and go to high school half of the day. And we have been taking advantage of, some of this COVID as well. And I know you took some college classes over the summer and try to get some courses knocked out rather than just, sitting home and saying everything's canceled, just trying to make the best of it. So tell me a little bit about, if you guys and your peers are discussing, what are your thoughts about COVID? Has it really just put a damper on everything as far as your sports and getting out to see more college coaches? And actually, let's backtrack. We didn't mention that, Martise is a huge basketball player. Most of my kids are athletes. Martise always played football, basketball, and lacrosse. And this is the first year that, no matter of fact, this is the second year that you've been 100% basketball. So just what are your thoughts about moving forward as a senior during COVID-19? Is the goods, the bads, the kind of, it's not so bad? Like, what do you think about everything that's going on right now?
Yeah, me personally, I'm a lot different from a lot of my peers because they all want to go back to school and they don't want Corona to be going on. But me, as a more personal person, it's only a couple of people in my friend group who want to do what I want to do, and I would rather just stay home, work from home, do school from home. Obviously, when basketball season come around, I'd be more than willing to go back to school. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we can have basketball season, but I would rather do my work from home and just be at home in my bed doing my schoolwork on a Zoom call instead of having to get up and go to school, sit in front of everybody and risk the chance of
getting sick.
Yeah, getting sick.
Yeah, especially because of what we're doing right now, because I just feel like it's just going to give you so much more time. So if you wanted to take, say, we did 6 credits at the community college over the summer. If you did 6 more credits in the fall, 6 more credits in the spring, then by the time you finish your senior year, we could possibly have another 12 to 18, maybe even if we can get 24 credits squeezed in before you actually graduate, then that would just be awesome. So by the time you get off to college, you'll be able to transfer at minimum 12 to 18 credits or more over to wherever you transfer, and possibly have that freshman year and all of your electives and so forth already out the way. So that's kind of what our plan is, on top of your AP classes. So we know you'll get credit for your AP classes as well. But that's how I kind of feel. I feel like it's, number one, not safe enough to chance it, to bring home, to your other siblings and so forth. I feel like they don't really have a plan set up that's good enough. to be able to do that risk. And then obviously number two, you can get so much more achieved with what we're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish, and also taking your real estate courses come September. You can get on school during the day, start your college classes, and then later on in the evening, start doing your real estate courses and still be able to train and work out and move, you know, a little more freely. So I feel like it's a great opportunity to take advantage of it. And I always say, if you can't change your situation, then change your perspective of it. So just kind of changing and shifting your mindset on what we're able to get done during that time, rather than looking at it in a bad way, like, you know, we can't be around friends and so forth, because you know how we always teach as parents, you know, your friends will always be there. This is time to kind of set your goals and do what you need to do and so forth. So also another thing that I did want to speak to you about is you are one of my very, very unique children, because I had the opportunity and the privilege at one point to homeschool you. And you are one of my only kids that I actually homeschooled. So I know now with COVID-19 right now, everybody's kind of making that decision. Should I send my child back to school? Can I be a homeschool parent? What do I teach? What do I do? How do I come up with curriculums and so forth? And I get a lot of phone calls now because they know that I had homeschooled before. So just tell me a little bit. I homeschooled you for 5th grade, only that 1 year. And just to give a little backstory, the reason why I homeschooled you for 5th grade is that at that time, you were still, your brother was in private school already, and you were still attending public school in Baltimore County, only because you were attending a really, really small public school that was almost like you had to live in the community to attend the school. And at some point, rezoning happened and so forth, and we arrived the first day of your 5th grade year, and we noticed by like the 2nd week of school, they started making some changes, and we got notification that it was going to be 35 children in your classroom. So me being the mom that I am, as soon as I heard that, I was like, put my son's things in his backpack. He will be coming with me. And I almost immediately pulled you from school, I think almost that same day. So I think you were probably there for a few hours after we got the notification. We had like a town hall meeting the next day. And before the end of that school day, I cleared your locker and I said, it's no way I'm allowing my son to be in a classroom with 35 people in 5th grade. And I know 100% that I can do a better job. Even if I've never homeschooled before, I know that I can do better. And he'll be able to get more out of this school year by just sitting in that classroom, because it was just too much chaos and too much confusion, and we were only a week into school. So you tell me a little bit about your experience homeschooling, kind of some of the techniques that you can remember that we used to do. And I know we used to spend a lot of time together at that time, because obviously it was just you and I every single day. But just give a little bit of thoughts as a child that has been homeschooled before, even though it was for a short time, on how you felt about it.
I felt that homeschooling was fun. I didn't have to wake up super early like I used to when I went to school with all my friends. I didn't have to. I was waking up at 11 o'clock and was finished school by about 2 or 3. And I also learned a lot of facts and a lot of skills while I was homeschooled, like typing. Like right now, we used to do typing lessons every morning. When I was homeschooled. I used to get up in the morning. The first thing I would do, go to the computer and just type. And now that kind of helped because I can type a 1-page essay in 30 minutes, 25 minutes, just with my thoughts. And I can just type, I can just put them down real quick, whatever I'm thinking. So that kind of helped. And I learned a lot of facts about presidents and a bunch of different other stuff that you probably wouldn't learn in a class with a whole bunch of other students.
Yeah, because basically what I would do is, after I would take the other kids to school, then I would come back, and obviously we would probably make breakfast or something, and then I would have you start your day. And like you said, we would start initially with keyboard. And so I usually kind of consider that as like an elective. And you were only in the 5th grade then, but I was just trying to think of everything that I thought that you would need, you know, in the future. So I just wanted to make sure that, I know me being a business administration major when I was in high school, that was something huge that I learned. Keyboarding and typing, and basically how to use Microsoft, how to use PowerPoint. All of those things were really big for me then. So then I started implementing that with you, and I was like, look, I saw a little gap there where I was like, I don't think he knows how to type that well and know how to do, certain things. So I started doing that top of morning. And while I had to prepare some, then you can go on and start doing your typing lessons. And then we would kind of get back together. And like you said, we were starting to do government. I mean, we had some of the most amazing science projects. I'm not sure if you remember all of those, but we used to do science projects together. The only thing I know that you didn't really love like that was art. And that was even hard for me to kind of come up with some art things for us to do. Especially for a young boy, because you weren't really interested in drawing flowers or going to pick leaves and things like that. But I remember us finding like some really cool art projects that we can kind of do that may last a few weeks. And then also you were still playing sports at the time. So it's not like you didn't get a chance to socialize, which is the big misconception that people think, everybody that homeschools won't be able to be around their friends and to socialize. And also, if you want to speak a little bit about a lot of the field trips that we used to do with other homeschool people and just everybody. I mean, we would go to some of the homeschool field trips and it would be like 300 other kids there, and you wouldn't even think that it was such a homeschool world out there, and how flexible it was. And that's another thing that I personally like, is that I was able to stick with curriculum, so you wouldn't be so far off of what we had, the usual flow of your school day when you were in school. But I was also able to take it up a little bit. So we would do, at that time you were in 5th grade, and we would do a mixture of the 5th grade and 6th grade curriculum, as well as for spelling words, we would do spelling tests. So we would do the science tests, science experiments, and I just feel like everything about it was kind of just really a cool experience. The following year, we did decide to put you into a much smaller private school, and you've been in private school ever since. But I really love homeschool. So anybody that's interested in doing it, I think even if it's just for a small amount of time, if you're kind of nervous about sending your kids back to school during COVID-19 and all that's going on, because you're just during an uncertain time, then I think it was a great opportunity for us. And my favorite thing was the science projects. I used to absolutely love the science projects we used to do. I mean, I think that we made vomit one time. And I can't remember if it smelled, but it really looked like vomit. And then we did a science experiment on like the digestive system and germs, and we just took it everywhere. And I know that your favorite part was more the political side, going into government and a lot of things that we were learning about each individual president and kind of how that process goes. And we had a lot of fun facts about each president that we were getting into, and then I would give quizzes on each subject. But you were also playing sports and so forth as well. So I believe you were doing basketball and lacrosse. I'm not sure if you were doing football.
Yeah, I wasn't doing football, but yeah, you did. That year was a fun year because you did a good job looking at the curriculum, but it was mainly the things. You would use the curriculum and stay on the curriculum, but then the way you made for a 5th grade version of myself, you made everything else around to go off the curriculum, and you made that like really fun for me as a 5th grader who kind of needed that.
Yeah, we weren't having a boring time at all.
No.
We were having a really, really good time homeschooling. And our plan was never to fully homeschool you. It was really kind of like put on me when I got to school that day as a mom. When I got up to your school that day and they had the town hall meeting as a mom, I just pretty much pulled you out. Like, I did not plan to homeschool at all. I just said, I can do a better job than what this school is doing. And I wasn't willing to move forward anymore. And we didn't have set for you to go to another school. And most of the private schools, you have to do like a year in advance. And I had just decided, look, I'm just going to homeschool them and then take my time to really feel out where we wanted to put you the following year. Because I didn't want to stick you somewhere 5th grade and then pull you back out for 6th grade and put you somewhere else. So I just felt like that was a time of transition. And that was just the best thing that I knew how to do as a mom. And I just knew that the situation at the school was not going to be the best and that I could do a much better job. But I really, really enjoyed that time. And like you said, the worst part of it is that we just spent so much time together that we were going to restaurants and we were just eating all the time. Crab cakes and steak and lobster and just anything you wanted on the menu, we were eating. And I feel like even when you were playing sports, we were just packing on the pounds a little more than we wanted to. So that was kind of the worst part of it, that we still had to kind of watch diet, but we were just so excited to have that one-on-one time and to be able to experience some of those things. So we were just going all out, kind of doing a little bit of everything. But I also wanted to make sure that I speak to you about any your upcoming college journey. So I'm not sure if you kind of, I know you don't have a major pinpointed, but I didn't ask you, did you have any colleges in mind that you were kind of looking at, or are you going to base it off of who has some of the majors that you might be looking at, or kind of what is your thought process on picking a college? I know obviously being an athlete, it has a lot to do with, you know, your sport and being somewhere where you're able to actually play and make an impact on the team and so forth. But do you have kind of a process that you have in mind to kind of get started, or have you not really thought about that at all? Just kind of give me your idea and your thoughts on moving forward with college and selecting a school.
Right now, I don't have an idea of where I'm going, but right now I'm just I have been reaching out to colleges and to college coaches to try to see where I can be a good fit because of the whole COVID situation. Usually this summer, I feel like without COVID, I feel like this summer I probably would have picked up some interest through basketball from some colleges. But right now I'm just trying to basically go with the flow. I am going to apply to some colleges, but we're going to see how senior season goes to see if I can get a scholarship or something, because that's my biggest goal right now, is to try to get a scholarship and basically stay ready, stay in shape, keep taking classes to keep my academics sharp, and just be ready to go whenever school starts back up or the season starts back up, so I can possibly get a scholarship and don't have to pay much money to go to school.
Mm-hmm. And I know, speaking of your workouts, that you are basically not only our IT person at the house, but you're our personal trainer around the house. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about your workout routine. Martise works out, I feel like, at least 5 times a day. Martise is either setting up sessions at the court. He's usually with his trainer. If he's not with his trainer, he's doing workouts in the pool, or he's in our home gym. And I feel like you have these routines almost set up. And with COVID, you have been bringing us in, and I know you and I work out a lot anyway together. But we recently kind of brought the whole family in, and then you take us out by poolside and kind of start this routine for us. And you have us on the ladder, you have us running sprints, you have like a whole routine that you have set. So I know that's another thing that possibly could be an interest of yours in the future as well, while you're in college doing training, depending on the format or how close the school is to, you know, certain stores or certain gyms or things like that. That may be an option as well, because I know you really, really enjoy training. But just tell me a little bit about like your mindset, because you're the strictest person in the house as far as being set to your fitness goals. And I know sometimes if you say that you just want to eat clean for like 45 days, Martise, you never waver. I mean, you turn around, and while we are, you know, ordering pizza and getting stuffed crust pizza and ordering Chinese food and everything else, or we make our own Chinese food now, but making our Chinese food or getting takeout or even sweets, we're a huge sweets family, that you won't touch it at all. You can walk right past it, or either stay in your room or even go out to the gym to kind of distract yourself from being able to indulge in anything. So just tell me a little bit about like is it easy to be that strict? Is it not easy to be that strict? Is it something that's just natural to you now?
For me personally, it's not easy when it comes to like sweets, because I love sweets, but it's something in my mind. I think about it. For me personally, I think about it and just tell myself like, it's a bigger part to being an athlete than just what you do on the court. You got to watch your eating off the court, and it's a lot to go. You got to watch what you put in your body. My favorite player being LeBron James. He spends a lot of money on his body, and he really watches what he eats. So I really admire that. And for my family purposes, I know I really want my parents to be in good health, to be here as long as possible, because I got 2 younger sisters. So I try to get them working out so they can stay healthy. Cause I know my granddad, he's always been in shape, and he always preached to me to help your parents to make sure they in shape and working out so they can be here as long as possible. And then my siblings, I know they're athletes, but I know they're probably not taking sports as serious right now because they're not as old. They're not my age, but I know when they become my age, they're going to wish they were working out or wish somebody had them working out when they were younger. So that's why I try to stay on top of them, make sure they are meeting their fitness goals and playing the sports that they play. So I wanted to make sure they are ready to go whenever they get back out on the field, and for Jordan back out running, and just be ready to go.
Mm-hmm. And I know that when you take me out there, I mean, some of your workouts are like real vicious. So I try my best to keep up. And I work out probably, if I had to say who works out the most in the house, it's definitely you. And then I might even be a second runner up. Maybe Jules might be a little close up on me because she's always training with soccer, you know, several days a week. But I mean, just independently, like not just because you have to. Like I don't play a sport. I've never played a sport. But I try to work out as much as possible because I do understand that we do love to go to restaurants, we love to eat, we love to explore new foods. So I kind of have to maintain as much as possible. So I try to stick in there as much as I can. I know we just ordered some new leg press machines and we have to go get some more weights and so forth. And we started building our home gym up a few years ago, but it's still like some pieces that we're missing. But we also like being outdoors as well. And I know with everything that's happening with the pandemic, I started seeing everybody posting about riding their bikes. And even though we never post our workout videos, which maybe we will sometimes, because that's another piece that we never share. We never share us as a family out at the pool working out or anything like that. But we started riding our bikes years ago. I remember maybe like 5 years ago, we decided to get family bikes and go on bike rides and so forth. And that's something that we like really have grown to love. So I'm excited that I see everyone else loves riding bikes, but we kind of have been on to the bike phase for some time now. And I know you and I went out maybe a week or two ago before I caught my flat and went out to ride. And I think we did, I can't remember if we did like 8 or 9 miles. And we were supposed to be doing like a quick run before you had to go to training and just do a quick bike run. And we got in almost 10 miles like in no time. So riding bikes and getting on the bike trails and something has been something that I love. And I know you like kind of mixing up your workouts also.
Yeah, I know you make it a lot easier with buying all the equipment for us to make sure. That's what makes it a lot easier, because a lot of my friends, they don't have the equipment that you buy, and make it easier for us to go out there and work out. And the weights, like I know that costs a lot of money, and the machines and even the bikes, and making sure we all have bikes that we can fit, because I know Jules and Jordan are getting a lot bigger, so they're gonna need bigger bikes. And then making sure we have the right weights, because as I'm getting stronger, I might need heavier weights and stuff like that. So I really commend you on making sure that we have the proper equipment to stay fit and do what we like to do.
Yeah, I try to keep the home gym stacked. Like right now, we have like tons of bicycles, even with my bike having a flat right now. And it's so crazy because I've had a flat for 2.5 weeks or so. And I had to go to Amazon and wait for them to ship me a new inner tube because the local bike store said that they can't get inner tubes in because of the pandemic. So they said they're like 4 months out on being able to get an inner tube, especially because so many people are biking right now. So I kind of have not been able to get on my bike for probably 2.5 weeks, which is really bothering me because I like to be able to get outdoors while we still have good weather. I prefer to work out outdoors than indoors. So this is like the perfect time to kind of go out in the backyard or go outside or something to work out. But if we have to, then we'll come inside the gym. But right now the gym is pretty, I mean, we're almost running out of space in our home gym because I've stacked it up as much as possible. Like you said, I just feel like we get a few more heavier weights because Now we can probably do, 300 or 400 on our legs or something like that. So I feel like we don't have 400 pounds worth of weights. We probably maybe have close to 200 or 170 or something. So we need to get some more weights. But the weight plates are just so expensive too. So I've been trying to find some places so I can really get like a good deal on maybe like 300-pound of plates, so we can be able to utilize the leg press that I just got for us. Also, but I like the agility stuff that you do that's like no weight. So
Yeah.
doing the ladders, jumping the hurdles, and all of that stuff that you kind of set up, and just like the old school, jumping jacks and just sit-ups, doing those routines. Those are kind of my favorite too, especially because we have enough room in the out back to run hills and to do sprints and so forth. So I'm just grateful that we're able to have, the luxury right now, which a lot of kids may not have, also, of having a space and having all the items, like you said, to be able to kind of keep in that routine. So when it's time to go back in front of the college coaches, then you guys should still be in tip-top shape and still be able to train hard with everyone else, even though the gyms have been, public gyms have been closed and a lot of sports and so forth is shut down. Because like you said, for Jordan, track is completely shut down for the entire summer. So we've been trying to keep her on the treadmill, keep her running, because she's more of a long distance runner, keep her wind up and things like that. But we absolutely love it. So thank you for always training us and staying on top of us, making our smoothies, making our meals. Martise is a smoothie king, the real smoothie king. So you know how to make all the best smoothies and so forth. So another thing while I have you that I wanted to speak about, so I spoke to your brother about how he feels about the impact of Generation Z, which is your generation, and kind of everything that's going on in the world. And he recently moved to Houston, Texas a few months ago, and we were supposed to visit him probably 3 times since now. And now our trip has been held off to the end of the year for us to get together. But prior to when he first moved, we planned on being down there to see him in just a few weeks, but everything kind of changed as far as COVID-19. And then we had to go through everything with, different cities rioting and just a lot happening right now. And I know that your age group also is kind of, like I said, about everything else, talking about what's happening, and you guys are probably discussing it with your peers. And what your thoughts are. So just tell me a little bit about your thoughts. And similar, my opinion is still the same when I did the interview with your brother, that I just feel like Generation Z is so outspoken and they just are fearless and, just are ready to stand up for anything, not tolerating any foolishness. And I think it's just amazing. So I think this is the first step in my lifetime that I will probably ever see towards making that change and that movement. And I think that your time is not the future. You guys, your time is now. So take advantage of it as much as possible. But are your friends talking about everything that's going on? Or how do you guys feel about everything that's going on? How do you personally feel about, how everything is going right now? Just what are your thoughts on the impact of Generation Z?
Yeah, I feel like our generation has had a very big impact, and my friends, they are very outspoken. In fact, one of my friends, Desmond, who goes to La Plata High School, he had a big rally, a big protest going on for all the social injustice going on in the world. So I feel like we really like to stand up, and we want our voices to be heard at such a young age, because I don't think the world really gives us as much attention as we should get. And they like to bash us a lot because of the internet use and how we like to be on our electronics. But I think that's a positive thing sometimes. Like the internet and our phones, they really help us and keep us updated. Like our phones and our social media outlets are our version of the news nowadays. Like that's how we find out stuff, and that's how we choose to make an impact on what's on the world.
Mm-hmm. And also, you are a first-time voter, so tell me a little bit about that. So, at the age of 17, which some of my friends were even saying they didn't know, like, how were you able to vote at 17? Because I feel like older people didn't even know that the law is that if you are turning 18 the same year as the general election, you're still able to vote in the primary. So we kind of gave you a little bit insight on how the process works and what to expect, but we didn't tell you who to vote for. We told you that you had the option to go in and kind of research everybody that was on the ballot prior to going into the polls, prior to reviewing everything, and just looking at each candidate, especially for our jurisdiction. The great thing about our jurisdiction and what's happening with COVID is that it was only one polling place that was actually open. So a lot of our candidates were actually there on site, and you had a chance to talk to some of our future judges, some of our future city councilmen, and people that were running. So tell me a little bit about that experience. We stood in line, I believe, maybe 4.5 hours just to vote in the primary. So tell me a little bit about your thoughts for the whole time we were standing in line. Did you think this was absolutely ridiculous? Did you see some of the things that we will probably be facing politically in our future? Tell me your thoughts on speaking with some of the candidates and so forth, and just your overall experience with voting for the first time this year.
Yeah, I feel like it was definitely a long wait, but it was definitely worth it because us people should know that our vote counts, and voting is really important because those people can have those offices for a long, long time. And like, if I get a ticket 20 years from now, the person I voted for might be at that on the desk at that court place, ready to greet me there. So
yeah, because one of the judges that came, she was on the ballot,
yeah.
and I told her that you were a first-time voter, and can she tell you a little bit about herself? And she said that, and I'm not even really sure because I'm not super political, and so I'm not sure if that is for every jurisdiction, but she said in our county that whoever we vote in now will hold that spot for 25 years.
Yeah.
Which I even thought that's crazy. I don't think I ever knew that before. So like I said, I felt like I needed to come home and do my research. Like, is this in every county, or is this specifically a Maryland thing, or is this, a federal thing that when a judge is voted in, I obviously know for the Supreme Court, but just in your county, that once you vote one in, that they have that seat for so long. So you really have to make sure that you're making the right decision and putting the right people in place. Because like you said, you're a new driver now. You just got your permit. Well, not just, you're about to get your license now, do your driving test for your driver's license. So you've had your permit for a while now. But like you said, you'll, just even something small to think about, that I'll be a new licensed driver out there. Like, what if I make a wrong turn, or if I do something and I'm nervous and now I have to go in front of, a judge in court, then am I putting the right people in place in my county that will make sure that they're making the best decisions for, the future and us moving forward? But like I told you, we'll probably have the same road ahead of us at the general election, especially with everything that's going on with these mail-in ballots. And I don't know what they're doing with the mail, but it seems like some days we have no mail for like multiple days at a time. So I know something's happening with the mail. And just voter suppression, voter depression, and everything that's going on. So I'm not looking forward to it, but we'll be back out there. Who knows how many hours for the general election, but we definitely want our voice to be heard. We want you guys to have your own experiences and make your own decisions on, your political views and things of that nature. But we'll be back out there, and hopefully 4 hours at the most, we can get in and get out.
Yeah, everybody should definitely go vote, especially people my age, because a lot of the votes go down a lot because people my age don't go out and vote. Like, they think they're too young or don't know.
Did you have a lot of friends that were old enough to vote, or were you the oldest one that kind of was able to vote in the primary?
Oh, no. I had some friends that are allowed to vote, and I basically told them that they should go vote. And I was telling, they didn't know either. They was thinking the same thing, like, how are you allowed to vote? We only 17. And I was letting them know, like, as long as your birthday is before November, you can go vote.
Mm-hmm.
So now a lot of them are changing their minds.
But may not participate in the primary, but now that they know, hopefully
yeah,
you can be a voice to encourage them to, just research candidates, just do your own research, but at least make your voice heard. Do your research and then go out and rock that vote 100%. So another thing that I also wanted to get your opinion on, and I'm doing this with all, yeah, all the kids, just kind of going over your business plans and going over just everything about your future and where you see yourself in the future and so forth. But I also wanted to talk to you and get your version of the same thing I spoke with your brother as well, just getting your version of your thoughts on being raised by a teenage mom. So again, I see it from my perspective is hopefully I made it to the point where you guys didn't even know that. Like, I don't even know at what point you even realized what my age was, but hopefully I made it as seamless as possible and did the best job that I possibly could. But I just want to always make sure that I include your opinion, because obviously my thoughts may be one thing and you guys may say a whole nother thing or a whole nother experience. So what are your thoughts on just overall being raised by a teenage mom, your experience? Hopefully I did a good job. Hopefully, you guys were always in the best schools and, everything that we could. I try to make sure you guys participate in all of the best programs, not just any program, but you guys were in like some really, really good programs, camps, sports facilities, and I always tried to make sure that you guys had the best role models and so forth around you. So hopefully it was an impact and it's a part of your story, but maybe it wasn't a huge impact. Maybe you really didn't even know you were raised by a teenage mom until you got older. So what are your thoughts kind of overall on being raised by a teenage mom and kind of your upbringing to now?
Yeah, being raised by a teenage mom, I know it probably wasn't an easy job for you, but you did a great job. And I feel me and my brother, we talk about it all the time, and we just was like, we don't know how you did it, because me being a teenager and him being around that age, we cannot imagine having a child or even two children at this age. And I know it was probably really tough for you during that time, but we really appreciate it, and we really are thankful that you one had us, because I know a lot of people go the other route at that age. So it was really a brave thing for you to do at that age. And we really, now that we're older, we really can't tell, because I feel like growing up that you were mature, and you were older than you actually were. So we just see you as our mom. We didn't really think about age or anything. It was really,
Yeah, that's how I kind of see it. I
yeah,
feel like nobody really, like, unless I say it, like, and I ask the question, like, how do you feel about being raised by a teenage mom? Or do you feel like, some of your peers that have much older parents were, have a better advantage or something like that? And I always get from you guys that I don't even think you realize that I was younger. I don't even think.
yeah. It is one positive thing to it, and that is because you're younger now. A lot of our other parents are, a lot of our friends' parents are older. Like, we can connect with you more. You understand us more because you are closer to our age range than some of our peers' parents and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. And I know some even the older parents reach out to me and, they're always trying to get information on like what the kids are talking about and what they're
Mm-hmm.
saying and so forth, because they probably think, well, I know she, talks to the kids and so forth and
Yeah,
kind of knows, especially Jerome as well. He is a basketball coach at your high school. So I know all the kids love him and love
yeah,
speaking to him, and they, use Coach Mac, for advice and for, basketball skills and all of that stuff. Um, so tell us a little bit about like, what's your thoughts of having your dad as your basketball coach? Like, what's the good and the bad? I know he's probably hard on you. Um, and I know he's probably hard on everybody else because he is, a basketball guy himself, but some kids may think that it's really cool to have their dad just so much a part of their sports world and so forth, but not all the time. Sometimes your dad is just in the stands, just screaming and yelling and saying, get the ball, do this and do that. And then it's a big difference to have your dad actually on the coaching staff than just in the stands and just telling you what to do and what you should be doing and so forth, instead of actually being out there. So talk a little bit about that as well, and the difference between kind of having that support like right there, even in the locker room versus just only in the stands, and the advantages and disadvantages of having your dad as your basketball coach.
Yeah, it's definitely fun having him as our coach. Well, he's the head coach and now the assistant coach, but it's definitely having him it's fun having him on the sideline anyway, because he is hard on me. So a lot of the times I know them car rides home after games, if I don't play well, it's gonna be long talk. I know I better take the headphones out because we about to have to talk about that last game. But I feel like the good thing with him, it's no favoritism when we're on the court or like when we in practice. There's no favoritism. He might pull me aside sometimes and like tell me to do something because I was a captain of the team this year, and like try to tell me and teach me how to be a better leader. But I like that there's no favoritism. A lot of parents that coach their children or coach on the team, they like to favorite their children a lot. But I think my teammates really respect me and respect him because they know that he's going to tell me the same thing he would tell them. Like, it's no special treatment. If they got to run, I got to run right with them. I'm going to be right up there on the line, ready to do my sprints right with them. So I think that's the main thing that he really impacts all my teammates with.
Mm-hmm. And what about even when he drives the bus, the school bus to the game?
Yeah, I know that hard on him.
Yeah, that even adds to, similar to what we spoke about when I homeschooled. That kind of creates that moment for you guys, because not only does he coach you throughout your high school career, and like you said, at one point even being your head coach, and then this year he kind of once you transfer to another school, then he's the assistant coach and just step right in to be added to that coaching staff. But I know when he gets off of work, he basically just goes straight to your school.
Yeah.
So I know he runs the scoreboard and basically anything that is needed at school every day. So I know a lot of parents are involved, but it's just, to me, always an extra blessing. And that's another piece. I just keep saying that we need to start sharing more of our lives. Like, I know that we're a real private family and we live in a cult and in a bubble ourselves. Like, the NBA bubble probably doesn't have anything on the MacArthurs because we live in a huge bubble. But it's so fascinating, everything that we have going on. And I think it's just awesome to other parents to be able, and other families to be able to share this, because especially in a world of social media and people posting and sharing almost everything, we never share everything that we have going on. And it's just amazing to have, those both parents in the home, number one, and then, everything that I bring on my side and the relationships that we are able to have and conversations about everything. And then I know, like I said, when Jerome gets off of work, he goes literally straight to the school. Like, you don't even have to figure out where he's on the way to, because he's heading straight to the school to make sure you guys are okay and make sure he's not needed with anything. If he has to, help clean up the floor, if he has to do anything that the school needs there, get the floors ready for the next game, see if the concession stand is needed, anything that's needed over there, run the scoreboard, help out a coach, give a pep talk to one of the boys that has an attitude or something before the game, a disagreement or anything like that, then he usually just head straight there and kind of like, where am I needed? What do I need to do? So that's always been something that's amazing. And I'm quite sure that will probably help in your future as well, moving on to college, and just kind of always knowing that you guys had that support and backing. And we can't wait to get you into school, and hopefully it's not too far, because I know you kind of want to live in LA or real far like your brother. But we're game on that too, because I'm never one that wants to kind of stop you guys from living whatever your dreams are. I was able to live out what my dreams are, and I feel like no matter where in the world you are, we'll follow you guys with whatever is best. But I do know you want to go far too. So hopefully for every game we don't have to fly to LA or something, but we'll make
I don't plan on going too far for college, but after college I plan on going pretty far.
Yeah.
Touring the world.
Yeah. Which is cool. I love it. I absolutely love it. I wish I was able to do that. So I say go, enjoy. It's so much world out here, so many places to be. Just continue to stay focused, stack your money, because money makes everything better. Any situation that you put yourself in, if you have money and you have some money in the bank, you have a cushion there, then anything almost can be resolved. That's just how I feel. It may not make you happy, but it can change your situation. So I'm always big on just making sure that you're prepared, that you plan, and make sure that you save, invest, have as many streams of income, no matter what your age is, as possible. So I always tell you guys stories that even in my industry, I had a closing recently, and I came right home to tell you, like, the gentlemen that were on the other side of the transaction, I think they said they've done like 250 flips or something like that, and they were twin brothers. And I didn't ask their age, but I know they weren't over 25. I know they were really young, flipping properties in Baltimore. And I actually just love things like that. I thought it was actually awesome. And once we transfer you to your school your high school that you're at now, a big piece of it that drew my attention was the fact that they have financial literacy courses, because that's just something that's really important to me. And even though I'm always teaching you guys at home and so forth, I just love that they actually had that standard in the curriculum, because you don't see that a lot now. And I always hear parents say, like, they should bring back some of the old school stuff. They should bring back financial literacy, and they should bring back handwriting and penmanship and all of those other things. And I'm always like, well, my kids' school have all of those things, but I think it's just a piece of finding the right fit for, you know, what your needs are as a parent, what you want your child to be experiencing, you know, the 8 to 10 to 12 hours that they're in that school building. Sometimes you guys get to the school building in the morning and you don't get picked up till 10 or 11 that day. So I have to always make sure that whatever school that I'm selecting for you guys is somewhere that have the same morals and value system that we have at home, and somewhere where I know you guys are safe and so forth. And I know you've been taking this financial literacy course since you've been there, and it's mandatory at your high school. So just tell me a little bit about, like, are you enjoying the class? Do you love financial literacy? Or, like, what's the importance of that? I know you said earlier that you may be possibly leaning towards economics. And even if you did something like psych and I guess majored in finance or business, minored, in finance or business, or economics, and then majored in something else, just to kind of be able to get some of those filler classes and learn a little bit more. But how important is it to you to learn more about investing and financial literacy? And before you answer that, I know that we even was talking, your brother trades Forex, and that's one piece of financing that I'm not even, the finance world, that I'm not even really informed on. I don't have a lot of information on it. And I know he kind of gave us a little tutorial the other night, because we were kind of interested in learning a little more about foreign investments and so forth as well. And I know I taught you a few years ago how to get on and start trading some stocks, and how to get your savings plans together. And you guys have had retirement plans for forever that I've had set up for you guys. So you'll definitely not be broke as a kid in the future. But just tell me a little bit about, you know, just kind of pursuing that on your own, and not necessarily everything that we have in place for you already.
Yeah, right now, like you said, we're talking to Monte about really trying to get into Forex, and I'm really interested in that, but I'm also interested in learning how to invest. And you've been teaching us how to save basically our lives, so I know how to save. So saving never really been a problem for me. And then my financial literacy class was very fun, and I learned a lot this year, especially with my coach being the teacher of the class, my basketball coach being my financial literacy teacher. So on van rides, so I sit in the front and I sit right next to him, and everybody else sit in the back. So on van rides to the games, we'll have whole discussions about financial literacy and how I like it and what our perspectives are on financial literacy, and me telling them how you know a lot about finance, and him just comparing what he or him comparing and telling me what he's going to teach us next class, and basically giving me a heads up and seeing what my ideas are, and just basically me just listening. That's a lot of the conversation, me listening, just being a student again, trying to learn and pick up knowledge on different anywhere I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like you said, just to piggyback off of you saying it's not an issue with you saving, Martise can save his money like never before. So I don't think I had a problem with teaching you that piece of it. I've definitely drilled that into your mind, Mars. He's probably still has his Christmas money from 3 Christmases ago. Because you live small like your mom. You don't need a lot of things. You're not a flashy kid. You don't need, even sometimes if I try to beg you, like Martise, pick out a pair of tennis shoes. Let me go get you this. Tell me if you put 2 pair of tennis shoes in my cart and let me just go pay for them, and you'll basically never produce any of those items ever, and basically don't really spend money on too much unless it's something for workouts or training, or to meet with your personal trainer, or to get salads at Panera Bread if you want, something like that. But basically it's if you need something. So you probably, all my kids are pretty, well, the girls are pretty tight too. I'm not going to say everybody is pretty tight. Monte is getting a little better at being tight, but he also knows how to hustle too. So he'll get money and then, spend it as he needs it. But you still will hustle and still hold on to all of it regardless. So I know you'll be fine once you get to college and, your spending habits and all of that stuff, because you're excellent at saving. Just anything that, you have, you'll just make sure that you hold on to it and save it. So I'm not worried about that at all. But
I don't buy a lot of stuff. This my favorite. It's probably my favorite hoodie right now. I Am brand.
Yeah,
my brother's business.
I see you're rocking your I Am brand hoodie today. I have on my line, my Millionaire Moms Club line. I actually love wearing hoodies. It's kind of cold in the house, so that's why it's summertime, but we have on hoodies because it's kind of always cold in here. But we really are, like, if we're not out doing business or have to do anything professionally, we really are just like a laid back, chill type of clothing family. So I'm more comfortable in my hoodie, and I come right in the door just like I did yesterday. I'm working all day. Within 5 minutes, you'll turn around and I'm in just like loungewear or my hoodie or something like that. But I definitely thank you so much for being on the podcast. I appreciate your insight. A lot of people don't get a chance to hear your voice because, again, I don't know why, but it's just kind of has deemed that you're my quiet child. So I always say, like, he's not quiet. Go out there and have a conversation with him and he'll talk to you. But he just doesn't want to run his mouth for no reason and to anybody. Like, this is not how his personality is, which is similar to how I am. So I can understand it 100%. Like, I just don't want to have random conversations just to somebody walks through the door. But thank you so much for being on the podcast and giving everybody a little more insight into your personality and your future and what your plans are. And hopefully we see a lot more of everything that you have coming to the table in real estate. I can't wait to post up everything once you get your real estate license and you're able to join the team. Your brother's getting his real estate license in Houston as we speak. And, to get your license in multiple jurisdictions, multiple areas, and kind of just start building this generational wealth along with us. We've already prepared to give you guys and build down and pass down this generational wealth, but we want you guys to be able to add to your own portfolios and so forth as well, and do it as soon as possible. So when you turn 45, then, hopefully you possibly can retire, but even if you didn't want to retire, you can still be living a pretty comfortable life and possibly still work, but also just work for fun. Sometimes, similar to myself, I don't have to work if I didn't want to, but I love what I do. So that's why I continue to move forward and just kind of do everything that I love. And this is an industry that I personally love. I love everything with, teaching the next generation. So I definitely want the same for you guys as well. So thank you so much for taking this time to be on the podcast. I really enjoyed this episode. And again, we'll have you back on the podcast definitely after you get your real estate license and talk about that experience. And once you get out actually working with some clients and into some homes and so forth, and hopefully by the time you graduate school, we can get you into your first investment property as well, because that's a lot that I do for you guys as well to kind of get you started. A lot of people don't know the benefits that us as parents can have with bringing our kids on and kind of getting them started. So by the time you guys are ready to start, you'll already have a 850 credit score. I usually always add you guys as authorized users when you're very young, to all of my credit cards so you can adopt my credit habits and things like that. And I put you guys on all our businesses, and you guys are part owners on almost everything. So you guys already have tons of businesses, but I'm just excited about seeing you guys branch out and do, a little bit on your own and things that you guys love and so forth. So thank you so much for being on the podcast. I definitely appreciate it. And I can't wait to have you back to speak on some other things. Once you get in college, we'll do some tutorials and so forth, because we need to share a little more. I think all of this stuff is so important, and people love hearing a little more about you guys and everything that you have going on. So we're going to start sharing a little more. We can still keep our privacy, but I still want to start sharing a little more, especially things that are important. And I feel like, watching you guys and your journey is so important to share with other young Black men that are thinking about possibly going to school, and how afraid to go off to college, and fear that they will be away from their family and all of that other stuff. And there's so many great things and experiences that come from it if you have that support system. So I'll have you back on the podcast real soon. I definitely thank you, and thanks for being on another episode of the Working Mom podcast.
Thank you.